محمد رسول الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
الحمد لله الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على سيدنا وسندنا ومولانا محمد المصطفى صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه ومن والاه. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قال الله تعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد وصالح المؤمنين صدق الله مولانا العظيم. صلى الدرود الشريف بري اللهم صل على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى الجود والكرم ومنبع النور والحلم وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا حبيب الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رسول الله وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا سيدي يا نبي الله. الصلاة والسلام عليك يا سيدي يا رحمة للعالمين وعلى آلك وأصحابك يا شفيع المذنبين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending durood and salam upon Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa sallam. Allah Almighty has blessed us once again to gather to remember His beloved Messenger Sayyidina Muhammad Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. Allah Almighty accept our hazri in His bargah, and Allah Almighty through this lecture tonight forgive our saghira and kabira guna. As I mentioned before, that today's lecture is on none other than Sayyidina Umar Ibn Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the one who is Sahibul Karamat, the one who is Saniyul Khulafa Rashideen, the one who is known as Amirul Mu'mineen, the one A'izza Allahu bihil Islam, Allah Almighty strengthened Islam through him. وقائد الفتوحات وقاضي الحوائج رجل شدائد سراج أهل الجنة عرف بالحق وهاجر جهرا والخليفة الفاضل الإمام العادل ويخشاه الشيطان، يعني سيدنا عمر بن الخطاب الفاروق رضي الله تعالى عنه. These are some of the titles that have been bestowed to Sayyidina Umar ibn Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Amongst the Sahaba, the greatest amongst them You see, the Sahaba are broken down into categories in terms of their status and ranking. You have those who participated in Hudaybiyah. Before them you had those that participated and took part in the Battle of Uhud. Before them you had the first 313 that took part in Badr. Before them you had the Al-Muhajirun السابقون الأولون من المهاجرين والأنصار, the earliest Muslims, the earliest Sahaba to have accepted Islam and Sahabiyat. Then you have before them the first 40 entrants into Islam, and then before them you have Al-Asharatul Mubashara, the 10 who Allah Almighty's Habib alayhi salam said in this dunya that you are going to Jannah without any question, without anything. Amongst those 10, you have the 4 greatest leaders. You have Sayyidina Ali, Shaykh Mushkil Kusha, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said about Sayyidina Ali karamallahu ta'ala wajhahu kareem, Aliyun minni wa ana min al-Ali. Aliyun minni, Ali is from me, and I am from Ali. Oh Allah, love the one who loves Ali. He who loves Ali has Iman, and he who has hatred for Sayyidina Ali, he has hypocrisy inside him. A sign of Iman is the love of Sayyidina Ali radiallahu, who's the father of Imam Hassan and Hussain radiallahu ta'ala anhuma. Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala, and before them, before their Khilafat, you had Sayyidina Uthman Zunnurayn, Uthman Ibn Affan radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Uthman was that great companion that married 2 daughters of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He was the son-in-law of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, just as Hazrat Ali married Sayyidah Fatima to Zahra radiyallahu ta'ala anha and became the son-in-law. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about Uthman, Uthman, if I had 40 daughters, I would marry each and every one of them to you. Nabi alayhi salam said, Usman is Kamilul Haya. He has the most modesty from the Ummah, that even the angels are shy to stand in front of Uthman. This is Hazrat Uthman radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Before Sayyidina Uthman come 2 of the greatest men after Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. If not, no doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, with certainty, the 2 greatest men after Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam in the Ummah are Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq and Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Today's lecture on Hazrat Umar Farooq will include the maqam of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq as well. For if you want to understand the maqam of Abu Bakr Siddiq, you have to know who Umar Farooq is. And if you want to understand Sayyidina Umar Farooq, then you need to understand Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq. As Sayyidina Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, very famously about Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq and Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Or Hazrat Abu Usama, he said, Atadruna man Abu Bakr wa Umar? Do you know who Abu Bakr and Umar are? When they posed this question, they said, Huma Abu al-Islam wa Ummu. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq and Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu are those individuals that they are the father and the mother of Islam. They are the father and mother of Islam. That's how great these men are. For a family to work, you need a mother and father. For the family to stay strong, you need a mother and father. And the mother and father of Islam is Abu Bakr and Umar. That's the great maqam that these great companions of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam hold. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu's biography is as follows. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was born 40 years before the hijrah to Madina Munawwar. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu was born 13 years after the year of the elephant. The year of the elephant was known as Ramul Feel. This year, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was born in. Ulama have written that they were born 15 days after this event took place. And it was known as the year of elephant because there was a man in Yemen. He wanted to destroy the Kaaba. Because some Meccans came to Yemen and disrespected the place of worship. So he decided that he was going to build an army. And he was going to take the army to Makkah Mukarramah and destroy this army. Destroy the Kaaba. He got together hundreds of elephants, big army, marched towards Makkah Mukarramah from Yemen. Remember, Yemen is south of Saudi Arabia, modern day Saudi Arabia, but it came under Hijaz. He marched towards there, and when he arrived there, all the Meccans, the leaders, took shelter in the mountainside. And they see these elephants have arrived. Allah Almighty talks about this event in the Quran as well. He has an entire surah called Surah Al-Fil, the chapter of the elephant. What does this mean? Allah Almighty said in the Quran, أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِإِيلَافِ أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ أَلَمْ تَرَ كَيْفَ فَعَلَ رَبُّكَ بِأَصْحَابِ الْفِيلِ. Did you not see how Allah Almighty dealt with the people who came with the elephants? Allah Almighty talks about this in the Quran. When those elephants arrived, the leader, Sayyidina Abdul Muttalib, the grandfather of Rasulullah stood as a pillar on that day. And when the elephants sat there and didn't move, they said, look, move, move. The elephants wouldn't move. When they seen why the elephants didn't move, they realized that there was something glowing on the forehead of the grandfather of Rasulullah ﷺ, and that thing that was glowing and shining was the nur of the Prophet ﷺ. And out of honor and respect, those elephants didn't shift. Allah Almighty sent these birds called ababil, who were small bodies with big beaks. And in there they used to keep stones. And they went and they threw these stones and they went directly pierced through these elephants and destroyed them. This was known as the event of the elephants, the year of elephants, Amul Fil. Nabi alayhi salam was born in this year. 13 years after Nabi alayhi salam's birth, Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was born. Their birth occurred. And this occurred 40 years before the migration to Madina Munawwara from Makkah Mukarramah. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu's name was Al-Khattab. His father's name was Nufail. His grandfather's name was Nufail. His great-grandfather's name was Abdul Uzza. His great-great-grandfather's name was Riyah. His great-great-great-grandfather's name was Qurt. The grandfather before that, his name was Razah. And the grandfather before that, his name was Adi. And the one before that was Ka'ab. And the one before that was Lu'ay. This name Ka'ab and Lu'ay, they are amongst the great-grandfathers of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was related to Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam going back 8 grandfathers. They had a connection, so they were distant relatives. There was a relationship that was there. There was a rishta between them. But it was a very distant rishta. Sayyidina Umar Farooq's mother's name was Khattama bint Hashim. Khattama was the sister of Abu Jahl, the enemy of Islam. Nabi Salam said about Abu Jahl that Abu Jahl is the Fir'aun of my ummah. That's how severe and how great an enemy Abu Jahl was to the cause of Islam and the mission of Rasulullah. So Abu Jahl was the Mamun of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. This tells you a bit about Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was born in the city of Makkah Mukarramah. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu grew up in the city of Makkah Mukarramah. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu grew up with his very close friend Khalid ibn Walid. Khalid bin Walid was known as Sayfun min Suyufillah, a sword from the swords of Allah Almighty. Imam Umar Farooq were very good friends. They grew up together. They were trained in the arts of archery, wrestling, all these different arts of fighting. Sayyidina Khalid bin Walid and Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala and received it from the same background of teachers. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala and grew up, and his father was a very educated man. His father immediately thrusted Sayyidina Umar Farooq into education. And Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was renowned as one of the first amongst the Sahaba who could actually read and write Arabic. Many of the Sahaba couldn't read and write. Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu received this education, primary education of reading and writing Arabic from their youthful days. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu would spend his time alongside educating himself, grazing sheep and cattle, which was a common profession of the young Arabs in Arabia. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam themselves were a shepherd. Being a shepherd is the sunnah of the Anbiya alayhi salatu wasalam. Many prophets of Allah Almighty were shepherds. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala and spent his youth grazing sheep, herding cattle, and they grew up like this. Like many of the young Arabs became shepherds, spent their time like this. Hazrat Umar Farooq was no different. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala grew up to become a very powerful young man. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala mastered the art of wrestling, swordsmanship with the sword, bow and arrow. They became a master of genealogies. Genealogy is a subject, a science, which looks and which deals with the lineages of people. And Sayyidina Umar Farooq was one of the most learned companions when it came to the lineage of people. People would come and say, tell me my lineage, my khandan, who they are, where they come from, what their background is. And Sayyidina Umar radiallahu anhu will be able to relate that to them. This is an aim, this is a science, this is a knowledge, a subject to learn. So Sayyidina Umar Farooq received this education, this nurturing from a young age. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala used to enter the annual festival of Ukaz. There would be an annual festival of Ukaz that Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu used to enter. He would enter in there for the wrestling. This was like you have the Olympics and different sports. In the annual festival of Ukaz in Makkah Mukarramah, there were different sports that would be held. It was like a sports day. Now we have sports days in school. I miss my sports days, but not anymore. You know, these young ones here, they have sports days. This is how it was. It was a sports day in Makkah Mukarramah. Sayyidina Umar would enter as a wrestler in those days. When he would enter, everyone would fear him. Because of his strength, his height, his courage. So the man who feared no one. It's one of the greatest qualities of Umar Farooq is he feared no one other than Allah and His Rasulullah. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala's description is one that is of great interest to myself. I make dua to Allah Almighty that Allah Almighty grants us the tawfiq and the ability to have the ziyarat of Umar Farooq in our dreams. And that we have the honor of seeing Farooq Azam on the day of Qiyamah. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, their son Abdullah bin Umar, they narrate that my father was of white complexion with a slight reddish mix inside the color. They would go red, they had a slight reddish complexion inside the white face that they had and the body that they had. Sayyidina Umar Farooq, my father, he was a tall man. It's narrated that he was so tall that when he used to walk in the streets of Makkah Mukarramah, the marketplaces, Umar Farooq stood out from everyone that would be. Sayyidina Umar Ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu was so tall that it's been narrated about Sayyidina Umar that normally when you get onto a horse, you put your foot into the saddle and you lift your leg over. Farooq Azam was such a master of how to be a jockey and dealing with horses that Hazrat Umar Farooq would jump onto the horse. And when Sayyidina Umar used to ride the horse, they had such long legs that their feet used to touch the ground. That's how tall Sayyidina Umar is. Can you imagine that? Look, when I'm on the horse, my legs never mind touching the ground, are 4 feet in the air. Sayyidina Umar Farooq's legs used to, the blessed legs, they used to just about touch the ground. That's how long their legs were. Can you imagine the maqam of Umar Farooq? Imagine their beautiful description. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam Gulams and Sahaba, they continue to narrate about Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, that Sayyidina Umar Farooq used to have this great aura about him. He was mar'oob, ru'ba, robe, no robe. We say robe in our language, but in Arabic it's ru'ba. He was mar'oob, he had this aura about him. But Umar Farooq entered, everyone became very cautious and careful in what they said and did in his presence. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, they used to have the front part of the head, they had no hair there. So they were bald patched from here. And Sayyidina Umar Farooq had a very big beard, very large beard. And the beard, they used to color it with henna. Mendi, they used to color it with the red henna. And the moustache used to be big, and it would curl from here, would join them. You know, normal people have big moustache but no beards to go with it. Sayyidina Umar Farooq had a very big beard and had long moustache to go with it. It looks better when he has a beard with it. Today many Chaudhrys are Rajay. You see them, Chaudhrys are Rajay with all these curly, very, you know, like our Tom and Jerry or something. That's how it is. Umar Farooq had a very beautiful big beard, long moustache that was coloured with henna at the ends of it. Ends were coloured. Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, on their blessed face, it's been narrated by the Sahaba that they used to have two black streaks that had burnt their face hair. Umar Farooq was asking, Ya Umar, what are these marks on your face, these two black streaks? And Farooq Azam said to them, he said, at night I cried for the pleasure of the Almighty out of his fear. I've cried so much that these tears have burnt my cheeks. That's how much I cried. Maqam of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. During the day I would govern the people, during the night I would fear Allah Almighty. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala grew during the youth, educated themselves, studied hard, practiced archery, swordsmanship, wrestling. We arrived to the age of number 27. Sayyidina Umar Farooq is 27 years old, and the religion of Islam has begun. The advent of Islam has occurred. Ilan-e-Nabuwat has occurred. The great Siddiq Akbar, Sher Khuda, and Usman Ghani have accepted Islam. These were friends of Umar Farooq. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, after 6 years of Ilan-e-Nabuwat, accepted Islam. Sayyidina Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was 27 years old at that time. When Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala accepted Islam, his story brings tears to the eyes, and it shows us about the maqam of Islam. For 6 years the Muslims have been practicing Islam in secret. They have been very scared. It's been very difficult. The mushrikeen have not left any one stone unturned against them. The mushrikeen have gone against them, punished them. Sayyida Sumayya was martyred. The first martyr in Islam was a woman. People talk about women's rights and their rank and status in Islam. The first martyr, Shahida in Islam, from all the martyrs, was Sayyida Sumayya, the mother of Hazrat Umar Ibn Khattab. Islam has slowly beginning to spread in secret. 1 or 2 people are accepted in secret. Nobody has come out in public. Nobody has said it other than Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam. 6 years have gone by. One day Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, after assessing all these circumstances and situation, the circumstance of Makkah Mukarramah at that time, that Umar decided that he was going to end Islam, finish Islam. Sayyidina Umar took out his sword and marched into the streets of Makkah and said, "Where is Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Where is he? This man has destroyed our families. This man has gone against us. He's rebelled against our religion." Bear in mind, Sayyidina Umar wasn't a Muslim at this time. All this time he was not a Muslim. When Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu came out like this, prior to Sayyidina Umar accepting Islam, 3 days before him, Sayyidina Hamza Asadullah, Asadur Rasul accepted Islam. 3 days before. The Prophet ﷺ's foster brother Ananta. He was suckled by the same woman, fostering, which was a common practice in that time. Don't know if it's practiced today, but it's a very common practice amongst the Arabs to foster the children, i.e. to send them out during their childhood, to be brought up in the desert, to learn the trade there, and to be suckled by these women. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when they decided to end Islam and finish the Prophet ﷺ, Nabi ﷺ was making one dua. Nabi ﷺ used to ask Allah Almighty. You see, Nabi ﷺ knew who Umar Farooq was even before he accepted Islam. They knew what Umar Farooq's, the special qualities that he possessed. The uniqueness of Farooq Azam, they knew this. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, Abdullah bin Umar says that Nabi sallallahu used to make a dua all the time after their prayers. They used to say, Allahumma a'izz al-Islam bi-ahabbi hadayn al-rajulayn ilayka bi-Abi Jahl wa bi-Umar Ibn Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would make this dua. It's mentioned in Jami Tirmizi, Musnad Ahmad bin Hanbal, and also the Sahih of Imam Ibn Hibban. That, oh Allah, strengthen, give izzat to Islam. Strengthen Islam through one of these two men. The one that you love the most, strengthen Islam through him. Either through Abu Jahl, whose name was Umar bin Hisham, Umar the son of Hisham, or Umar bin Khattab, Umar the son of Khattab. Oh Allah, the one you love the most from these two men, oh Allah, bring him and guide him to Islam so that he may strengthen our deen, our religion. What we learn is that Islam is strengthened by the men of Allah Almighty as well. Allah strengthens Islam through the great men of Allah. That's how Islam gains strength. Through the first entrance into Islam. And this dua was made and was constantly made. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was in Dar Arkam bin Arkam radiyallahu. Arkam bin Arkam was a great Sahabi who set up the first madrasa in Islam in Makkah Mukarramah. This was a private tuition, private madrasa. It wasn't in public domain. It was his house. He dedicated his house to teaching and for the Sahaba to come and learn from the Prophet ﷺ. Hazrat Arkam bin Arkam Nabi Sallallahu were in their house. Umar Farooq took his sword out and he said, I'm going to end Islam today. I'm going to finish Islam. I'm going to kill Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam. I'm going to kill this man. On the way, Hazrat Umar Farooq, and there's mukhtalif rawaya, Actually, there are 4 narrations about their acceptance to Islam. One of the most popular ones is this one that I'm narrating to yourself now. When Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala decided that he was going to end Islam, Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala marched towards Arqam bin Arqam's house. Where is he? I want to find him. There was a Sahabi who had accepted Islam, but he kept it in secret. He was a good friend of Hazrat Umar. Umar, where are you going? You look very angry today. Everything okay? He said, I want to end Islam. I want to kill the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Sahabi said, Umar, look, before you take this any further, do something that you will later regret. Go and your sister's house, she has accepted Islam as well. Her name is Fatima bint al-Khattab. Fatima, the daughter of Khattab. She's accepted Islam, go and stop her. Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu became angry more than he was before. He marched towards his sister's house, knocked on the door and he said, open the door. She said, who is it? He said, it's Umar bin al-Khattab. Umar, what is it that you want? Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, open the door. She opened the door. Sayyidina Umar physically hit his sister. He slapped the sister so hard that she began to bleed. And Umar said, where's your husband Sa'id bin Zayd? Has he accepted as well? Sayyidina Umar took Sayyidina Sa'id ibn Zayd radiyallahu anhu and began to beat Sayyidina Sa'id radiyallahu anhu. There was another man who was in that room who was teaching these 2 Sahaba and Sahabiya. The sister of Umar Farooq and her husband. His name was Khabbab ibn Arif. And the Khabbab, when he heard Umar had come, he hid behind the curtain, thinking Umar wouldn't find him. He said, Khabbab, where are you? Get up. Began to beat Khabbab, beat Sa'id. They couldn't challenge Umar Farooq, he's in his prime. When Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala got tired and stopped, he seen his sister's face bleed. And this mercy come over his heart. He said, my sister, what are you reading? What were you reading before? Let me see this. Sister said, look, you can't touch this Quran until you are clean and pure. Go and clean yourself and then come back and read. So Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala when they said this, when Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala began to read the Quran, they were reading the verses of Surah Taha. They were reading the verses of Surah Taha. They understood what Allah Almighty was saying as they were learning in the Arabic language. They could read, understood and write. Sayyidina Umar Farooq's heart began to melt. He said, take me to the Prophet ﷺ. I want to accept Islam. And Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala went there, knocked on the door. Sayyidina Hamza was standing on the other side. Who is it? It's Umar Ibn Khattab. He said, Umar, what do you want? He said, I've come to accept Islam. Sayyidina Hamza said, if you've come to accept Islam, then in the name of Allah Almighty enter. But if you have come to do anything else, Umar, I will kill you with your own sword. I will not spare you. Sayyidina Umar said, look, I've come to accept Islam, let me accept Islam. Nabi salam said, Hamza, open the door, let Umar inside. When Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu entered, and they began to read the verses, or before they read the verses, Sabbaha lillahi ma fis samawati wal ard. And they got to the ayat of the Quran in Surah Al-Hadid, Aminu billahi wa rasulihi. He said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika la, wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, when they entered into Islam, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam said, Umar, when they accepted Islam and they read the Shahada, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam took the chest of Sayyidina Umar Farooq. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam hit the chest of Umar. Nabi alayhi salam said, Oh Allah, this hatred Umar has in his heart for Islam, remove this and put the love of Iman into his heart. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, on the acceptance of Umar Farooq, did a takbir so loud that the Sahaba said, Allahu Akbar so loud that the mushrikeen were sitting at the Kaaba, they could hear the takbir and the mountains beckoned the call of the takbir. That's how much happiness they expressed when Umar accepted Islam. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam would always make this dua. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, open the door for him, allow him to enter. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, oh Allah, guide Umar Farooq. Purify the heart of Umar Farooq. Make his heart strong. When Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu accepted, he said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, why are we sitting here in secret now? Umar has come into Islam. Let's go to the Kaaba and let them know that I have accepted your deen. Subhanallah. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, let's go to the Kaaba. You read namaz and I will defend you whilst you read your namaz. Nabi alayhi salam, you have nothing to hide about now. There's nothing to keep in secret. Hazrat Umar Farooq was the 40th entrant into Islam. 40th entrant. The number 40 holds a great significance. Nabi alayhi salam did Elan-e-Nabuwat at the age of 40 years old. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam stood on Koh-e-Tur, the Mount Sinai, for 40 days and spoke to Allah Almighty. For 40 days the rain fell and Nuh alayhi salam was in the ark. Number 40th in Islam was Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu. When Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu went to the Kaaba, Hazrat Umar said, I've accepted Islam. Abu Jahl, who was the worst enemy to Islam, sat there with the leaders and said, you know, today the Muslims have scored a great victory over us. Allah Almighty bless Hazrat Umar Farooq, Allahu Akbar. Allah Almighty, the one you love, guide him to Islam. What we learn from here is that Allah Almighty loved Umar Farooq even before he became a Muslim. Allah loved Umar Farooq. And Allah Almighty strengthened Islam through Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Allah Almighty strengthened Islam through Farooq-e-Azam radiyallahu anhu. Then Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud said, we were weak. We used to do everything in secret. When Umar accepted Islam, he brought everything out in the open. This was the greatest transfer in the history of mankind. I tell you. We talk about the transfer market. This person has gone to that club, this one has gone to that club. Messi's moved here, Ronaldo's gone there. I pick a qasam by Allah Almighty that the greatest transfer in the history of mankind, never mind football, the greatest transfer was Hazrat Umar Farooq coming into Islam. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu was the greatest transfer. There was no greater transfer than Farooq-e-Azam. When Hazrat Umar Farooq came into Islam, the Sahaba felt powerful. Allahu Akbar, on one side you had Farooq-e-Azam on the street, On the other side, Hamza, the son of Abdul Muttalib, the line of Allah is Rasul, patrolling the streets. Who's going to help Rasulullah? Farooq Azam has come into Islam, accepted the deen. But Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala accepted Islam. And Islam grew and began to spread. Islam grew and began to spread. Abu Jahl said, look, Islam is growing. Umar has accepted Islam. Hamza has accepted Islam. They were our leaders. They were in charge of our armies. They have gone towards the Muslims. We need to end Islam. So he increased the mazalim, the oppression of the Muslims. For 3 years, the Muslims lived in Shaykh Abi Talib. They lived off trees, leaves of trees. The Sahaba had no food. A social boycott occurred against them. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, Sahaba, begin to do hijrat. Go to this new city of Madina Munawwara. The people of Madina will accept us. Remember Aqaba Ula, Aqaba Thani, when the Madinans came to Makkah Mukarramah at the time of Hajj and accepted Islam. Remember in 1672, Musa bin Umair went back to Madina Munawwara, spread Islam, taught Islam. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, Sahaba and Ghulam decided to do hijrah. Sahaba would go in secret. Musa bin Umair went in secret. Bilal Habshi Ammar bin Yasir went in secret. Abu Jahl said that I will offer 100 camels for the ones who ends and brings back Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hatta ke Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam went to Madina Munawwara in secret. They went at night time with Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. All the Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in migrated. But when Farooq Azam migrated, Hazrat Umar Farooq went to the Kaaba. 20 people were behind them, did tawaf around the Kaaba. Hazrat Umar Farooq took out a sword and a bow and arrow. He said, Abu Jahl, take these things. End me. Take my life from me. I have the power. I will migrate to Madina Munawwara, not in secret but in public, so that you may see. Everyone migrated in secret, but Farooq Azam migrated in public. So everyone could see, and nobody could say afterwards that Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala was scared of these people. Farooq Azam wasn't scared of no one. He had a reputation that he was fearless. As for the reputation of Farooq Azam, he was the fearless soldier of Allah Almighty and His Rasulullah. The great commander of Islam. When Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, along with, after Hazrat Musa bin Umair Ibn Maktoum, when they went there, Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu went in open. Nobody was scared. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, Farooq Azam arrived into Madina Munawwara, settled into the city of Madina Munawwara, waiting for Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam to come. At that time, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, when they migrated, they were 53 years old. And Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala was 13 years younger than them. They were 40 years old when they migrated to Madina Munawwara. And Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala lived in the city of Madina Munawwara. When Nabi alayhi salam decided that he was going to pair people with one another, make brotherhood, Nabi alayhi salam said, Umar, you will be the brother of Abu Bakr in Madina Munawwara. You will be the brothers in Madina Munawwara. You will help one another out. You will be strong pillars together. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala's mini biography is this. So much has been written about his status. Inshallah Aziz, in the next moments, I want to talk about this Umar Farooq's maqam. People have a bone of contention for Farooq Azam and Siddiq Akbar, Abu Bakr and Umar radiallahu anhu. I intend to remove this bone of contention and inshallah Aziz, shed light on their great maqams, their status. Nabi alayhi salatu was salam, when Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, one day Nabi alayhi salatu was salam's Ghulam and Sahaba, they were sitting in the Masjid al-Nabawi. Nabi alayhi salatu was salam was walking into Masjid al-Nabawi, and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq was in their right hand, holding their hand. Hazrat Umar Farooq was holding their left hand. The Sahaba said, what a beautiful sight. What an amazing sight. That our leader is hand in hand with Abu Bakr and Umar. What a beautiful sight. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, Sahaba, just as you see me, Abu Bakr and Umar walking here now, on the day of Qiyamah we will be walking like this as well. That's how close we are. Hazrat Abdullah bin Abbas said, whenever we see Nabi alayhi salatu salam, Abu Bakr would be in their right hand, Umar Farooq would be in their left hand. Every battle, Abu Bakr would be on the right side, Farooq Azam would be on the left side. Every journey Nabi alayhi salatu salam went, Abu Bakr Siddiq would be with them, Farooq Azam would be with them. It was as if Nabi alayhi salatu salam's two companions were glued to them, they would never leave their side. One day Nabi alayhi salatu salam was in their house, and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq came out. Hazrat Umar Farooq came out of their house. They bumped into one another and they said, where are you going? Where are you going? He said, I missed the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I want to go see him. Umar, where are you going? He said, I have the same ambition and interest. I miss Nabi alayhi salatu salam. I want to see him. They said, let's go together to the house of Rasulullah. Abu Bakr Siddiq and Umar Farooq are best friends. Whenever you talk about Farooq Azam, automatically the name of Siddiq Akbar will come to your lips. Whenever you talk about Siddiq Akbar, Abu Bakr Siddiq, automatically Farooq Azam's word name comes to your lips. They were a pair, they were together in everything. Nabi alayhi salatu salam loved these Sahaba so much, Allahu Akbar, that in this dunya, they were always with Nabi alayhi salatu salam. In every battle, in every journey, in every way, everywhere they were together. On the day of Qiyamah, they will be with Nabi alayhi salatu salam in Jannatul Firdaus. Allahu Akbar. When they left this dunya, they are sleeping next to Rasulullah. How great are they? Those that have a problem with Abu Bakr Siddiq and Umar Farooq, if they were so bad, then why are they resting with Nabi alayhi salatu salam under the green dome? Where Abu Bakr Siddiq's blessed head is in the blessed feet of Rasulullah salam, Farooq Azam's blessed head is in the blessed feet of Siddiq Akbar radiallahu anhu. They are sleeping next to Rasulullah salam, resting next to him. When you go to give your salam to Nabi alayhi salam, never forget to give salam to the Khalifa of Rasulullah salam, Abu Bakr. And never forget to give salam to Amir al-Mu'mineen, Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu. Such a great maqam. Millions go there to give salam. And through their so close nisbat and connection, those that pass by Nabi alayhi salam, they also give salam to Abu Bakr and Umar Farooq. Resting next to Nabi alayhi salam. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq used to say, ما طلعت الشمس على رجل خير من عمر رضي الله تعالى عنه. That the sun has never risen over a man greater than Umar bin Khattab radiyallahu anhu. When Hazrat Jabir bin Abdullah radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said this, he narrates this, he said, Ya khayr al-nas ba'da Rasulillah. Hazrat Umar Farooq said to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, O one who is the best after the Prophet ﷺ in his ummah. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq said, Ama innaka in kulta dhaka falakad sami'tu Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam yaqul. Abu Bakr, Umar, you said this about me, that I am the best after Rasulullah sallallahu. I heard Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam say about you that the sun has never risen over a man greater than Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Umar Farooq is the greatest, along with Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam named Farooq Azam Farooq. You know what Al-Farooq means? Al-Farooq means the one who differentiates the right from the wrong, the truth from the false. This title is only the title of Umar radiyallahu ta'ala. He is known as Umar al-Farooq. He's the one who is Umar al-Farooq, the one who differentiates between right and wrong, truth and false. This is why Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, grass. This is why Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Inna Allah ja'ala al-haqqa ala lisani umrihi, ala lisani Umar wa qalbihi. That indeed Allah Almighty has placed the truth on the tongue of Umar Farooq and on the heart of Umar Farooq. That everything Umar Farooq says is only true, and everything Umar Farooq thinks is only the truth. This is why Nabi alayhi salam said, Sahaba, after me, if you want to find the truth, then the truth will be with Umar Farooq. Umar, wherever you are, the truth will be with you. Haysuma kunta ya Umar al-haqqu ma'ak. The truth is with you wherever you are, Umar Farooq. Whether you are in Madina Munawwara, Makkah Mukarramah, whether it's daytime or nighttime, Farooq, the truth is with you. You are the most truthful. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about Hazrat Umar Farooq. Nabi alayhi salam said, "Law kana ba'di nabiyyun, lakana Umar Ibn Khattab radiyallahu ta'ala anhu." That if ever there was a Nabi of Allah after me, Allahu Akbar. This one hadith tells you how great Umar is. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, if ever there was a Nabi of Allah after me, that Prophet of Allah Almighty would be Umar Farooq. That's how great Umar Farooq is. The Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, لو كان الله باعثا رسولا بعدي لبعث عمر بن الخطاب رضي الله عنه. That if Allah Almighty was to send a prophet after me, then Allah Almighty would send Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu. Nabi alayhi salam is the seed of prophethood. There is no prophet after Nabi alayhi salatu salam. Nabi alayhi salam said this to tell the Sahaba, you know how great Umar is. This is how great Farooq Azam is. That if there was a prophet after me, the Prophet of Allah Almighty would be Umar Ibn Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said about Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, there is no question that when we hear the name Umar, the hair on our back stands up. Because when we think of Umar, the connotations that go with this name is courage, is boldness, bravery, fearlessness. A man who wasn't scared of no one. A man who had all the courage in the world. The man who was fearless. Everyone migrated in secret. Farooq Azam migrated in the open. Everyone accepted Islam in secret. Farooq Azam accepted Islam in the open. Everyone would read their namaz in their gardens. Farooq Azam would read his namaz at the Kaaba. This Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala and Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Inna shaytana la yakhafu minka ya Umar. Oh Umar, shaitan is scared of you. Shaitan fears you. The devil, the biggest enemy to man, is not other than shaitan. He wants to misguide me and you. He wants to take us to the fire of Jahannam. Nabi alayhi salam said, Umar, I see everything. And I see that when you walk on the street, shaitan takes a U-turn and walks you. Shaitan is scared of you, Umar. Shaitan is scared of you. Shaitan fears you, Umar Farooq. Inna shaitan la yafruka minka ya Umar. Shaitan runs away from you, Umar. Umar, I've seen the heavens and the earth. Every angel in the heavens respects you. Every devil on the earth is fearful of you. This is Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said the day Umar accepted Islam, Shaitan hid his face from Umar Farooq. Shaitan never showed his face in front of Umar Farooq. One day there was this black slave woman. She made a promise that, Ya Rasulullah, if you win the battle, I will sing a naat for you with duff. Nabi Salam said, a woman using duff is haram, is not allowed. They didn't say that. Nabi Salam didn't say, don't read my naat. Why are you reading my naat for? Praise Allah, don't praise me. Nabi Salam said, if you made a promise, then fulfill your promise. We won the battle. She began to read. And she did this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Nabi Salam is sat there. Abu Bakr Siddiq comes in. She carries on doing. The door knocks. Who is it? Umar Farooq. She stops playing and she goes and hides behind the curtain. And she comes back and Hazrat Umar Farooq said, I heard some singing noises, some instruments. Who was playing that? And Sayyidina Rasulullah Sallallahu began to smile. They smiled and they said, Shaitan. They said, Umar, this woman is scared of you. I see that Shaitan is scared of you in the same manner as this woman. Just as this woman fears you, I'm going to hid from you. I see wherever you are, wherever you are, Shaitan is not with you. Only the truth, Allah Almighty is with Umar Farooq. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Amar Hazrat Umar Farooq Alama Bazar narrates this in his Musnad, that Umar Siraju Ahlil Jannah, that Umar Farooq is the glowing sun of the people of Jannatul Firdaus. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, that one day that Abu Hurairah narrates that Nabi alayhi salam had a dream. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam had a dream, and in the dream Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam seen a castle. Nabi alayhi salam asked the slave girl or the hura that was in that castle, okay, whose castle is this? She said, this is a castle Allah has promised Umar Ibn Khattab. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam woke up. And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Hazrat Umar Farooq came to them. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, last night, Umar, I had a dream and I seen a castle. And this castle is your castle. And Allah has given this because of your ghairah and your haya. Because of your modesty, your decency inside you. Allah has given you this castle. Sayyidina Umar radiyallahu ta'ala began to cry. Hazrat Umar cried so much and said, Ya Rasulullah, shouldn't I have gathered in front of you? Shouldn't I be shy and modest in front of you? Sayyidina Umar began to cry and accepted this from Rasulullah. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam one day said to the Sahaba, to my Sahaba, who has witnessed a janazah today? Talk about good deeds. Who has witnessed a funeral prayer today? Hazrat Umar said, Ana ya Rasulullah, I witnessed a funeral today. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Man aada minkum maridan, who has visited an ill person today? Hazrat Umar Farooq stood up and said, Ana ya Rasulullah, I visited an ill person. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Man tasaddaka, who has given sadaqah today to the charity, to the poor. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, Ana ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam heard this, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Wajabat, wajabat, Umar, Jannat is wajib. You have done that many good deeds today that Allah has made Jannat wajib upon you. You are going to Jannatul Firdaus. How much good have you done today? In one day, Umar Farooq to do all this good. How much good do me and you do today? Can we even read our 5 times namaz? You look up to Umar Farooq, behave like Umar Farooq. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about the great maqam of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, أول من يصاحب فهو الحق يصافحه الحق Umar. The first one to have met the truth was Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about Hazrat Umar Farooq that on the day of Arafat, Allah has forgiven everyone generally, but on this day, Allah Almighty has forgiven you specifically. On the day of Arafat, Allah forgives everyone. His rahmat reaches its peak. He said, I've forgiven everyone. Allah Almighty, Habib alayhi salam said, everyone is forgiven on that day. But you, Umar Farooq, Allah is forgiven specifically on the day of Arafat. That's the maqam of Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam said about Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu that in my ummah, like in every other ummah before me, there was a man through which the angels will talk from his tongue. That man is called a muhaddath. Muhaddath. The Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, who is the muhaddath in your ummah that the angels talk from his tongue? Nabi alayhi salam said, that man through whose which tongue the angels talk from, that is Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam's beloved sahabi, Ghulam of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. One day he was with Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam was with Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam said to Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when Hazrat Umar said to them, Ya Rasulullah, give me ijazat to go perform Umrah. Give me ijazat to perform Umrah. You see, Sahaba never did anything without ijazat. They never did anything without the permission of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I give you permission. They said, oh my brother, don't forget us in your dua. When you go there, remember us in your du'as, Umar Farooq. Nabi Salam is asking Umar Farooq to do dua for themselves and the ummah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Me, if I ask you to do dua for me, that's something else. But when a Sahabi says, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for me, that's one thing. But when Nabi Salam said, oh my Sahabi, Umar, you make dua for me, that is another maqam. The leader is asking his slave and his follower to make dua for me. Look at the humbleness of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this exemplifies once again the great maqam of Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's Ghulam Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said that on the surface of this planet there is no one that I love more than Abu Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. And Hazrat Abu Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu used to say कि अबू बकर लवदितु अन्नी शअरतुन फी सदरिक. Abu Bakr, I wish Allah Almighty had made me a hair in your chest. I wish I was a hair in the chest of Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Umar Farooq used to say, oh Allah, when I go into paradise, I hope that my house is in front of Abu Bakr Siddiq's house. That every time I leave my castle, I have the Didar of Siddiq Akbar. Maqam of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. The maqam of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. One day Nabi alayhi salatu salam's beloved wife, Al-Mu'mineen Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, was with Nabi alayhi salatu salam. Nabi alayhi salam was resting in their laps. Hazrat Aisha said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he's mentioning Mishkat Sharif. Ya Rasulullah, in your ummah, from your followers, who has done that many good deeds that equate to the number of stars in the sky. Nabi alayhi salam didn't say, Aisha, I don't know how many stars there are. And nor did they say, Aisha, I don't know how many good deeds my ummah do. Nabi alayhi salam said, Hazrat Aisha radiyallahu ta'ala anha, that there is one companion amongst my companions who has done that many good deeds that number to the stars in the sky. Millions of stars, millions of good deeds. You know who that is? That is Umar Ibn Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Umar has done so many good deeds that they equate to the number of stars in the sky. Aisha said, Ya Rasulullah, my father Abu Bakr, what is the maqam of Abu Bakr Siddiq? And Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, Oh Aisha, if all the good deeds of Abu Bakr were put on one side of the scale, and one good deed of all the good deeds of Umar Farooq were put on one side of the scale, and only one good deed of your father Abu Bakr on the other side of the scale, that one good deed of your father will outweigh every good deed of Umar Farooq. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said about Abu Bakr Siddiq, oh my Sahaba, if the Iman of Abu Bakr was on one side of the scale, and the Iman of all the believers was on the other side of the scale, the Iman of Abu Bakr will be bari, will be more stronger, more weightier than the Iman of all the Ummah of Rasulullah. That's how strong the Iman of Abu Bakr Siddiq is. His Iman is greater than all the Ummah put together. Abu Bakr Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. There were those Sahaba who migrated in secret. There were those Sahaba that migrated in public. And there was that one Sahabi that migrated with the Prophet. And that was Abu Bakr Siddiq. Can you imagine migrating on your own without the Prophet and then migrating with the Prophet? Imagine the maqam of Abu Bakr Siddiq. When Nabi alayhi salatu salam fell ill in the last days in this dunya, and they said, Nabi alayhi salam said to Hazrat Aisha, that called the Sahaba here. And Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, tell Bilal he should do the azan, and tell Abu Bakr Siddiq to lead the Jama'at. Hazrat Aisha said, my father cries too much in namaz. He's going to start crying again. Put somebody else there. Nabi alayhi salam said, Abu Bakr is the Imam of my followers and my Sahaba. As Abu Bakr Siddiq led the Jamaat, Nabi alayhi salatu salam, whilst they were reading namaz, wanted to see their Sahaba. And remember, Nabi alayhi salam's house was near the Masjid. It was right next door to the Masjid. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said to the wife, open the curtain. I want to see my Sahaba read namaz. And Nabi alayhi salam removed the curtain. All the Sahaba in the namaz looked at Rasulullah. All the Sahaba in the namaz, praying to Allah Almighty, looked towards Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam smiled at the Sahaba and said, carry on reading the namaz. Looking at Nabi alayhi salam in your namaz doesn't break your namaz. Who is he to say, if you think of Nabi alayhi salam, your namaz breaks? The Sahaba in the namaz looked at Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam then decided that they want to go and read namaz. Nabi alayhi salam began to break through the Sahaba's books. The Sahaba see Nabi alayhi salam come in their namaz, they began to hit their hand like this to say, move quickly, Rasulullah is walking. In their namaz. The Sahaba broke their rows. Abu Bakr Siddiq was doing the Jama'ah, radiyallahu anhu. As a Siddiq Akbar stood back in the namaz, didn't want to lead the prayer. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam pushed Abu Bakr and said, go forward. They remained back. Nabi alayhi salam went forward and led the namaz. Afterwards they said, Abu Bakr, I commanded you to lead, be in charge of all of us. Why didn't you lead the prayer? And Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq said, how can the son of Abu Quhafa stand in front of his master and lead prayer? How can it be Abu Bakr is the head of the Prophet ﷺ? Nabi alayhi salam will always be ahead and Abu Bakr will always be behind. This is adab of Abu Bakr Siddiq. This was an example where adab fawq al-hukam, that this adab and respect was ahead of the hukam of Rasulullah ﷺ. This is what this was. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam's Gulaman and Sahaba used to say about Hazrat Umar Farooq. Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala used to say that when you remember the pious friend of Allah Almighty, never forget Umar Farooq. Never forget Umar Farooq radiallahu anhu. Look, they say Hazrat Ali didn't like Umar Farooq. Then why did Hazrat Ali say this about Umar Farooq? Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam sahabi Hazrat Abdullah bin Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu said that Hazrat Umar has so much knowledge, that if the knowledge of Umar Farooq was to be put on one side of the scale and the knowledge of the entire ummah was to be put on the other side of the scale, the knowledge of Umar Farooq will outweigh the knowledge of the entire ummah of Rasulullah. That's how much knowledge Umar Farooq has. And this is why Hazrat Huzaifa ibn al-Yaman radiyallahu ta'ala used to say, it's as if that the knowledge of the people used to be in the laps of Umar Farooq. He had all the knowledge. This is why Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam once had a dream. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam was drinking milk, and this milk was going through the fingernails of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it would go straight into Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. When they woke up, Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam told the Sahaba said, Ya Rasulullah, what does this milk mean? And Nabi Salam said, this is knowledge that I was receiving, and it was going to Umar Farooq. Knowledge of Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala was that Sahabi of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that the Sahaba used to say he had the most knowledge of the Quran amongst us. Hazrat Umar Farooq was the one who was our judge, our leader. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, Hazrat Sufyan al-Sawri used to say that whoever thinks that Ali is greater than Abu Bakr and Umar, then that person has made a mistake. He has made a mistake against Abu Bakr, Umar, the Muhajirin and the Ansar. Nobody in the Ummah can be greater than Abu Bakr and Umar. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala an's maqam, Hazrat Ja'far Sadiq. The Ja'far Sadiq was Imam of the Ahlul Bayt, from the children of Hazrat Imam Zainul Abidin. As the Ja'far Sadiq said, أَنَا بَرِيءٌ مِّمَّنْ ذُكِرَ أَبَا بَكْرٍ وَعُمَرَ إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ ذَكَرَ أَبَا بَكْرٍ وَعُمَرَ إِلَّا بِخَيْرٍ. He said, I am free from that person. I am distant from that person who doesn't talk good about Abu Bakr and Umar. Today these people sit and hold gatherings swearing at Abu Bakr and Umar. How can they be going to Jannatul Firdaus and they swear Abu Bakr and Umar? When the Imams of the Ahlul Bayt said that I have no need with that person, I am free from that person who doesn't say good about Abu Bakr and Umar. Imam Ja'far Sadiq, those who say I am a Ja'fri Sayyid, you say you're a Ja'fri Sayyid and you swear at Abu Bakr and Umar. What kind of Sayyid are you? That you are not a lover of Abu Bakr and Umar. Hazrat Umar bin Abdul Aziz used to say that Hazrat Ali Shaykh said that he who says Abu Bakr and Umar are greater than me, I will lash him 20 times for saying. How dare he say Abu Bakr and Umar are greater than me? One day Hazrat Umar bin Abdul Aziz, in his time, there was a Rafzi Shia, hardcore, extreme Shia, who swore at the Sahaba, Sayyidina Aisha, all of them. He had 2 dogs. He named his dog Astaghfirullah Abu Bakr and Umar. He named his dogs Abu Bakr and Umar. And eventually what happened is one of the dogs killed him. The story was told to Umar bin Abdul Aziz. He said, which dog killed him? He said, the dog that was called Umar killed him. Okay, how dare he disrespect Umar Farooq? Disrespect as Umar Farooq, and don't think they won't get you back. There will be no khair in that person, no good in that person. There is no good in those people that swear at as Abu Bakr and Umar Farooq. Alhamdulillah, thumma alhamdulillah. We are from that Jamaat that respects the Prophet ﷺ's family and that respects Nabi ﷺ's companions. We don't respect one and disrespect the other. We don't respect one and disrespect the other. We respect both of them. Nabi ﷺ said, my companions are like stars. Whoever you follow, you will be guided. Nabi ﷺ said, my family is like Nuh Salam's Ark Kashti. And if you want to be saved, then get on board the Ahlul Bayt. And if you want to be guided, then follow the Sahaba. When you are on board the Ahlul Bayt, but you have no guides to guide you, you will get misguided. If you've got the guidance of the Sahaba, would you disrespect the Ahlul Bayt? Then how will you get to your destination without the Kashti, the Ark? This is why we follow the Sahaba's guidance and we sit on the Ark of the Ahlul Bayt. We follow them as well. This is the Aqidah of the Ahlul Sunnati wal Jama'ah. This is what we believe. We don't swear at the Sahaba, we don't swear at the Ahlul Bayt of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, Hazrat Ali radiallahu anhu used to say, Inna fil Qur'ani la ra'yan min ra'yi Umar. The Quran has opinions of Umar, the opinions of Umar Farooq. Whenever Hazrat Umar Farooq had an opinion, Allah revealed the ayat of the Quran immediately. Imam Suyuti lists many of those ayat. It's been narrated by the Sahaba, that over 300 ayat of the Quran were revealed according to the opinions of Umar Farooq. When the women were wearing hijab, parda, Nabi alayhi salam said, Ya Rasulullah, command the women to wear hijab and parda. As soon as Hazrat Umar Farooq said this, Allah revealed in the ayat, in the Quran, the ayat of parda and hijab. When Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, it continues further. Durushi pri Allah salli ala Rasulullah. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, Sahaba ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'een, it's been narrated that when the verses of alcohol were revealed, the final verse, this was revealed according to Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala's opinion. Allah Almighty said, they ask you about alcohol. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam's Ghulam Farooq said, Ya Rasulullah, ban alcohol, make it haram. As soon as they said this, Allah revealed in the Quran, they ask you about alcohol, tell them there is no good in alcohol. Because of Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. One of the greatest maqams of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala was that he was a great ashik of Rasulullah sallallahu. He was a true lover of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And every true lover of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam will never tolerate anyone disrespecting his beloved. No doubt you find in Hazrat Umar Farooq that he never tolerated anyone disrespecting Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. There was a man called Bishop, and he had a dispute with a Jewish man. They were disputing over some land, some water, somewhere. Because they couldn't settle their dispute, he said that, you know what we'll do? We'll go to the Prophet ﷺ and we'll ask the Prophet ﷺ to settle this matter. The Jewish man and this man called Bishr, who was a munafiq, hypocrite, they went to Nabi ﷺ and they said, Ya Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we've had a dispute, we want you to arbitrate between us. Nabi ﷺ heard the case. When this case was heard, Nabi ﷺ said, I give the verdict in the favor of the Jew, not Bishr, the so-called Muslim. Nabi ﷺ said this. The hypocrite, being a hypocrite, didn't like it. He said, I'm not satisfied with this decision. I'm not satisfied. Let's go to Abu Bakr Siddiq. He is a just man, let's ask him. Man knocked on the door and said, Abu Bakr, this is what's happened, we have come to you, decide. He said, where have you come from? He said, we've come from the Prophet ﷺ. So what did Nabi ﷺ say? Nabi ﷺ said, the Jew is right, but I am wrong. Abu Bakr Siddiq said, how dare you go to Nabi ﷺ and get the verdict, and then you ask Abu Bakr what to say? I say what the Prophet ﷺ said. Then this guy really wanted to test the patience. He said, look, I'm still not satisfied. Umar al-Farooq, the one who differentiates right from wrong, let's go to him, let's ask him what he thinks. What he didn't realize is he was walking into dead man walking like. He was walking into a death trap. He was walking into the soul. He went there, knocked on the door, Umar Farooq, he said, Bishop, Munafiq Jew. Didn't say Munafiq Jew, Bishop Jew. What's the problem? He said, look, what's happened is basically we've had a debate, a dispute, and we wanted you to decide and settle the matters. So Umar said, where have you come from? Abu Bakr Siddiq. What did he say? He said, where did we come from? We said we came from the Prophet ﷺ. So what was the verdict? So the verdict was that the Jew was right and I was wrong. So Umar says, no problem, I will give you my decision of verdict. So Umar Farooq went into the house and took out the sword. The Sayyidina Umar took the head of this munafiq and chopped the head of this munafiq off. When they chopped the head of this munafiq off, rumors went around, okay, look, Muslims are killing Muslims. Allah revealed in the Quran immediately to honor Umar Farooq. Allah said, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ حَتَّى يُحَكِّمُوكَ فِي مَا شَجَرَ بَيْنَهُمْ. After that, ثُمَّ لَا يَجِدُوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. I'm not Hafiz al-Quran, so I always need help of Hufaz. Allah Almighty said, when the rumor was spreading, Allah revealed to the Prophet ﷺ. Allah Almighty said, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ. If you understood this, then you've understood how great Nabi Islam is. Allah said, no, I pick a qasam by your Lord. Allah said, I pick a qasam by your Lord, Rabbika. Whose Lord? The Lord of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Allah is picking a qasam on himself. When he addressed himself as the Lord of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Prophet Prophet's Lord. فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ, I swear by your Lord. Allah said, I swear by myself. But Allah said, your Lord. Allahu Akbar. Allah has said He's the Lord of all, Rabbul Alameen. But when it came to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, rahmatan lil alameen, Allah said, I pick a qasam, فَلَا وَرَبِّكَ, your Lord. La yu'minuna, they will not have iman. Hatta yuhakkimuka, until they make you the judge. Fima shajara bainahum, in the disputes and all the matters that they have, until they make the Prophet ﷺ the hakim, they will have no iman in their hearts. And until they accept the Prophet ﷺ's decision, they will have no iman in their hearts. Allah Almighty is saying, Umar, you did right. You was right. Because he didn't take the Prophet as the judge. He was not a believer in Allah, is Rasulullah. You are only a believer until you believe Rasulullah is the hakim over everyone and everything. لا يؤمنون حتى يحكموك فيما شجر بينهم ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم, then they don't find in themselves حرجا ثم لا يجدوا في أنفسهم حرجا مما قضيت ويسلموا تسليما. They will only have iman until they are satisfied in their hearts with whatever decision you make. Because your decision is my decision. Allah is saying, Ya Rasulullah, your decision is my decision. What you say is what I am saying. What you do is what I am. Allahu Akbar. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam, when they threw the stones, Allah Almighty said, La ramaita iz ramaita, walakin Allah rama. Allah said, Ya Rasulullah, my Habib, La ramaita, you didn't throw. Iz ramaita, when you threw, walakin Allah rama, it was Allah who was throwing. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam threw with their hands, they picked it with their hands, they threw it. But Allah said, La ramaita, you didn't throw. Iz ramaita, when you threw, walakin Allah rama, it was Allah who was throwing at that time. The Almighty is saying, oh my Habib, when you are throwing, let your Sahaba know that in reality it's Allah Almighty throwing. Because Nabi alayhi salam's throwing and Allah's throwing. Allah Almighty said in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ يُبَايِعُونَكَ إِنَّمَا يُبَايِعُونَ اللَّهَ. Allah Almighty said, indeed those who do bad with you, in reality they are doing bad with Allah. Because the one who has done bad with you, in reality is doing bad with me, because your bad is my bad. Allah Almighty said, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. Oh my Habib, tell them, if they love me, they should follow you. When they follow you, then I love them. When they don't follow you, I don't love them. The Almighty said, say to them, your parents, your children, your family members, your cousins, your wife, your money, your business, everything. Are they more beloved to you than Allah and His Rasul? Or do you love Allah and His Rasul more? Babe, your love is my love. My love is your love. Look at how much Allah loves His Habib. He said, believing in you is believing in me. Loving you is loving me. Doing bad to you is doing bad to me. When you throw, I am throwing. Allahu Akbar. Maqam Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ma yantiku anil hawa in huwa illa wahyun yuha. Habib, when you talk, it's not you talking. I am revealing to you. You talk what I tell you. Everything you say is from me. Allahu Akbar. Allah knows Rasulullah ﷺ so much that Allah Almighty, when Musa ﷺ asked them, let me see you. Let me see you. Allah said, you never get to see me. He said, Jibreel, go bring my Habib. I want to see him. I want to see him. And I want to unveil my majesty to him so that he may see me. How great is Rasulullah ﷺ? He will never truly understand his maqam. How great is Abu Bakr Siddiq? He will never truly understand his maqam. How great is Farooq Azam? He will never truly be able to understand his maqam. One day a man was talking in the Masjid. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam passed away. Hazrat Umar Farooq was sat there. Hazrat Umar Farooq said, who's talking? Bring him here to me. And they brought Farooq Azam to them. Hazrat Umar said, where are you from? He said, we're not from here, we're from Taif. Hazrat Umar said, you are very lucky. Because if you was from here, I would have ordered you to be lashed 20 times. How dare you talk louder than the Prophet whilst he is resting in Madina? I say, this is the Iman, the Aqidah of Farooq Azam. Today, those who talk loud in Madina Munawwara, if Farooq Azam was alive today, don't you think you would have got them chopped up to pieces? How dare they disrespect Rasulullah and talk louder than Nabi salam. Nabi salam, his maqam, his honor is greater than everything. And Hazrat Umar Farooq understood that. And Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when they went to Nabi salam and the Sahaba were catching water, did Allah Almighty say in the Quran, "O companions of the Prophet, don't catch his water, there's nothing in there." Allah didn't say that. Allah Almighty loved this action. Because why? The Sahaba understood the Quran the best. And they understood that the unconditional love of Rasulullah is everything. No conditions attached. If today I march in the love of Rasulullah, remember, for any action of love, you don't need proof. That action itself becomes proof. That's the difference. That action itself becomes the proof. When the Sahaba used to catch the water, Allah Almighty didn't stop them. Why did they catch it? Because they loved the Prophet ﷺ and they wanted to show the love. Allahu Akbar. You know what I say? I go, if Allah didn't stop them, the action is a proof for me and you. The Prophet didn't say this is shirk, too much, don't do it. They didn't say that. They carried on catching the water. If they out of their love catch the water, then today out of love I march on the street. Today out of love I hold gatherings of Milad and Bolton. Out of love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And to express love you don't need proof. What proof did the Sahaba use? No Sahabi said, "Give me Quran and Sunnah, why are you doing this?" No daleel was needed. The action became a daleel for me and you. That's what we learn. Hazrat Umar Farooq, great lover of Rasulullah sallallahu. When Nabi sallam passed away, Umar Farooq was 50 years old. 2 years later, 6 months, 52 years old, Abu Bakr Siddiq passed away. Then during the caliphate, when they became the Khalifa, Allahu Akbar, maqam of Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq and Farooq Azim. So much I can talk about, brothers are going. However, I will carry on. It's nearly been 2 hours and we're still sitting here, alhamdulillah. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, they were appointed Khalifa. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu said to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq was asked, when Allah will ask you who you made the Khalifa, what will you say? Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq said, I left it with the best of them, the best from them, Umar Farooq. That's what Abu Bakr Siddiq said about Umar Farooq. And Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, they became the Khalifa. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu's Khilafat lasted for around 12 years. Around 12 years. In this time, Islam spread far and wide. Went as far as Afghanistan, China, and as far west as Morocco. Hazrat Umar Farooq appointed leaders. There's many karamat of Umar Farooq. One miracle of Hazrat Umar was this, that Amr bin al-As, who was the governor of Egypt, he wrote a letter to Umar Farooq and said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, the river Nile has dried up and it's not giving us any water. Hazrat Umar Farooq wrote a letter back and said, O Nile, O river Nile, I write to you, in the name of Allah is Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that if you believe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala Nabi salam and Umar Farooq, then bring water back for them. Otherwise, do as you have to do. Signed Umar Ibn Khattab. As Umar wrote to Umar Ibn Asim and said, this letter, give this to the river Nile for me. When they gave this letter to the river Nile, all of a sudden water appeared from it. And they said that only the prophets perform miracles. This was a miracle of Umar Farooq. Is Hazrat Umar a prophet? No. So other than the prophets of Allah can perform miracles known as karamat. Known as karamat. Miracles of the awliyaullah of the Sahaba. One day, Hazrat Umar Farooq was in Madina Munawwara. An army went to Syria. On the way there, the army was going to be attacked, the Muslim army. Hazrat Umar Farooq stood on the minbar. They said, Ya Sariya al-Jabal, Ya Sariya al-Jabal. Oh Sariya, go to the mountain, go to the mountain. As a Sariya heard this voice from Medina Munawwara in Syria. The Sariya went to the mountain. When they came back to Medina Munawwara, they said, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, we were saved in this battle because we heard your voice from Medina Munawwara. Many karamat of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. One day a man came to Hazrat Umar and his name was translated and meant fire. He said, go back quickly, your house is burning down. Because the name of people have an effect on the characters and the things around them. That's why Nabi Sallallahu said, name your children good names. Names that have good meanings. That's what Nabi Sallallahu taught us. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was the first one who made the Hijri calendar. But the calendar, we are 1434 Hijri. The year 1434. Who initiated this Islamic calendar? Hazrat Umar Farooq. I think this was a bid'ah. This was an innovation Umar Farooq has done. You know the need for this? Today, they don't like bid'ah, but they use the same calendars. Why do you use this calendar? Make your own calendar. The Umar Farooq said the new Islamic year calendar will begin from the year that we migrated to Medina Munawwara and from the first of Muharram. When I was reading about this researching, you know what some Sahaba said? They said the first New Year's Day of Islamic year should be the day the Prophet ﷺ was born. Why? Because the Sahaba believed it was a special day. That's why they said that. But they have decided, unanimous decision was that it was the first of Muharram. This teaches us so much. The Aqidah of the Sahaba, not my Aqidah, your Aqidah. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was the first one to pass the ruling that he who drinks alcohol should be lashed 80 times. Hazrat Umar Farooq was the first one who initiated the ruling that when you do namaz-e-janazah, you do 4 takbeers. 4 takbeers. When you do the namaz-e-janazah. This is a bid'at as well. They initiated it. Namaz-e-tarawih. Sahaba used to read tarawih on their own. Hazrat Umar Farooq said you should read this in a group. One imam, everyone behind him. Nabi Sallallahu never did this. It's not in the sunnah. It was not narrated in the sunnah for them to do it for 30 days. One night, 2 nights they did it. They led certain Sahaba, but still they were scattered. To have one imam and full Jamaat, 20 rakats, this was the sunnah of Umar Farooq. You know what Hazrat Umar said when we looked at them reading? He said, Ni'mal bid'atu hadihi. What a good innovation. Hazrat Umar believed that afterwards there will be people who will say, Kullu bid'atin dalala, وكل ضلالة في النار. Every bidat is bad and every bad action is going to the hellfire. Hazrat Umar said, I'm going to teach you, not every innovation is bad, there are also good innovations. This is Hazrat Umar Farooq understanding of the Quran and Sunnah. And these people are telling me that this is bidat and that is bidat. What do they know? Will I follow them or will I follow Umar Farooq? I will follow Umar Farooq. I don't follow these 21st century so-called mullahs. I follow Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. These were from amongst the achievements of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. It's been narrated that the day Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu passed away, Abdurrahman ibn Yasar said, I witnessed the death of Hazrat Umar Farooq. And on that day there was an eclipse in the sky. There was a solar eclipse, the moon was eclipsed. And it's narrated that Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, how great are Abu Bakr and Umar radiyallahu anhu. Nabi alayhi salam passed away at the age of 63. Abu Bakr Siddiq passed away at the age of 63. Umar Farooq passed away at the age of 63. Nabi alayhi salam is in Madina Munawwara. Abu Bakr Siddiq is in Madina Munawwara. Farooq Azam is in Madina. Look, the age look the same. Buried in the same place, resurrected from the same place, always were together. How great are these people? Today people question their maqam. It's narrated that Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala passed away on the 1st of Muharram, some say on the 25th of Dhul Hijjah. And they were stabbed by a man called Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi. Abu Lu'lu al-Majusi, he was the slave of a man called Mughira ibn Shu'bah. Abu Lu'lu complained to Hazrat Umar Farooq, Amir al-Mu'mineen, Mughira taxes me too much, charges me too much. Hazrat Umar wrote to Mughira, who was in Iraq, and said, tell me, what do you think? They said, he'll be fine, don't worry. I give him the right amount that he deserves. He's a carpenter, he works with wood, he works, he's a jack of all trades. This is what I give him. And Mughira bin Shu'bah said, keep him with you, he will come in handy, he will do a lot of chores, so on and so forth. Hazrat Umar said, Mughira is right, you are wrong. Abu Lu'lu didn't like this. Remember, he was a dhimmi, he was not a Muslim, he was a non-Muslim. He was a Zoroastrian slave. Abu Lu'lu didn't like this. Abu Lu'lu decided that he was going to kill Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Umar Farooq had a dream that the one who is building windmills is going to kill him. In the morning, they stood on the Mimbar Sharif and they did a khutbah. And they said that I fear there will be a man that will kill me. He will stab me. When Hazrat Umar Farooq came for Fajr namaz, Sahaba made their rows. At that time, when Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala and came for Fajr namaz, and they made their rows, Abu Lu'lu broke through the rows. And he stabbed Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala and 6 times. And he stabbed Sayyidina Umar once through the stomach, pierced through them. Hazrat Umar Farooq fell down. Sahaba were there, Abdullah bin Abbas, Abdurrahman bin Auf, all these Sahaba. Hazrat Umar said, I thank Allah that a Muslim didn't kill me. I thank Allah that a Muslim didn't kill me. Sahaba, read your namaz. It's narrated that they took Hazrat Umar Farooq home. Abdullah bin Abbas said he would give Hazrat Umar things to drink and it would go straight through and out of his stomach. There was severe bleeding that occurred. 5 days Hazrat Umar was like this, and on the 6th day they passed away. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu passed away on the Yawm al-Arba'ah, which is a Tuesday. They were stabbed on the 26th of Zulhijjah, and after 4 days they were buried, or 5-6 days they were buried on the day of Yawm al-Ahad. Yawm al-Ahad is Sunday. Yawm al-Ithnain is Monday. Yawm al-Thulatha is Tuesday. Yawm al-Arba'ah is Wednesday. On Wednesday they were stabbed. On Sunday the janazah occurred and were buried. Before the time that they were stabbed, they said to us of Aisha, they said, Aisha, I have one desire and request. So my desire and request is that I'm buried next to my best friend Abu Bakr al-Muslim. I said that Aisha said, I reserve this for myself, but I give this to you. Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq, as Umar Farooq passed away. The janazah was led by Suhaib al-Rumi, Suhaib ibn Sinan al-Rumi, the Roman who accepted Islam. Suhaib, he performed the namaz janazah, and they were passed away and buried on the Sunday next to Rasulullah Islam and Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq used to wear a ring, and in their ring it was engraved, Kafa bil mawti wa'idhan ya Umar. Kafa bil mawti wa'idhan ya Umar. Umar, one mentioning of death is enough for a person. Kafa bil mawt, it's enough for death. It is enough for death. Wa'idhan, wa'iz meaning wa'az, giving a talk. That is enough to remind you about death, Umar. That's what was written in the ring. There has never come a greater ruler than Umar Farooq. The justice of Farooq Azam, they said if a donkey died on the banks of the river out of thirst, in Qiyamah I would worry that it was Umar's fault that he didn't give him water. When the masla occurred, and Hazrat Umar Farooq gave the ruling, an old woman stood up and said, Umar Farooq, you are wrong. Allah said this in the Quran. And Hazrat Farooq Azam checked and she was right and said, Umar was wrong and this woman was right. Today which leader says, I'm wrong? Every leader says, I'm right. Hazrat Umar Farooq dealt with justice. He feared Allah when he ruled the people. When Hazrat Umar Farooq was patrolling the streets and a woman was crying, and a baby child was crying, she had no food. Hazrat Umar Farooq, she complained, and she stood up, and Hazrat Umar said, do you have any ideas, what shall we do? She stood up and said, Umar, our children are crying, why can't we do something? Hazrat Umar said, I fear Allah Almighty. I fear Allah in regards to this matter. We should set up a benefit system. Only till the recent times did the British government change this benefit system's name to benefit systems. You know what it was called before? Umar's Law. This was the law of Umar Farooq. They were the first to initiate the benefit system. Allahu Akbar. Said, I don't want no one to complain about me to Allah that Umar didn't treat the people right. Umar ate from the people. No. Hazrat Umar Farooq was a just leader, just ruler, just governor of the Muslims, who ruled with justice, with Quran and Sunnah. We loved Allah and His Rasulullah Salam more than everything. The second Khalifa of Rasulullah Salam, the one that Islam was honored by his acceptance to Islam. The one whom Shaitan used to fear and be scared of. The one upon whose tongue the angels used to speak from. The one who Nabi alayhi salam said, truth will always be with you, Umar. The one Nabi alayhi salam said, the opinions of Umar are the opinions of the Quran, revelations of the Quran. The one that ruled with justice, the one that was the true lover of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala anhu, amongst his greatest sayings, and I will finish with that. Allahu Akbar, Imam Suyuti narrates, Ismail ibn Ziyad, Hazrat Ali one day was walking past Masjid al-Nabawi in Ramadan Sharif, and there was a qanadil, candle, to give light at night time. Hazrat Ali said, Nawwar Allahu ala Umar fi qabrihi kama nawwara alayna masajidana. Oh Allah, illuminate the grave of Umar Farooq just as he illuminated our masjid. Look at the love of Hazrat Ali for Umar Farooq. Ahlul Bayt don't like him. The Imam of the Ahlul Bayt, Hazrat Ali said, Khuda loved him. Made dua for him, never did but dua against him. It's narrated that Hazrat Umar Farooq, amongst his saying, Hazrat Umar used to say, my best friend is he, the one that takes faults out of me. Hazrat Umar used to say, Man istawa yawmahu fahuwa maghboon. Whoever's 2 days are the same, he's in a losing battle. It's narrated, Hazrat Umar said, that on the day of Qiyamah, if the caller called out and said, 999 people are going to paradise and one is going to the fire of hell, I would fear that name would be Umar Ibn Khattab. And if Allah Almighty called out on the day of Qiyamah and it was said 999 people are going to the fire of Jahannam, and one person is going to the Jannatul Firdaus paradise, I would hope my name, Umar bin al-Khattab, would be called. He balanced his hope and his fear. So great Hazrat Umar Farooq. I finished finally with Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq, when they passed away, before they passed away, they said to their daughter Aisha, remember Hazrat Umar Farooq said, Hazrat Aisha, let me be buried next to them. How did Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq manage to be buried in the feet of Rasulullah sallallahu? Good question. How did he get there? Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq said to Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, oh my beloved daughter, my beloved daughter, go to Rasulullah's grave and ask Nabi Salam permission that can Abu Bakr be buried next to him. Imam Suyuti is Al-Khasais Al-Kubra narrates this. When Hazrat Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha, before they got there, giving salam, because Nabi Salam's blessed grave Mubarak is in the compounds of their house, Hujra of Aisha radiallahu anha. The walls were still, there was a door to go in. The door opened automatically. And a voice came and said, Udkhul al-Habiba il-Habib. Bring the beloved back to his beloved. Indeed, the beloved is yearning for the meeting with his beloved. Sayyidah Aisha heard this, she went back to Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq and said, my father, the Prophet has called for you that you will be buried next to him. Allahu Akbar. Abu Bakr Siddiq's maqam. Hazrat Umar Farooq's maqam. People might be wondering about their children and their wives and so on and so forth. Imam Ibn Jawzi, Abu Farj Abdul Rahman Ibn al-Jawzi in his Manaqib of Umar Farooq narrates in here in regards to the children of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu and the wives of Sayyidina Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. One of the most famous children was Abdullah bin Umar. He was a profound and very strict follower of the Sunnah. He used to walk in the same ways that the Prophet Islam would walk. Abdullah bin Umar used to go to the member of Rasulullah after they passed away and would rub his hands on the seat and would rub it on their face. Why is a Sahabi doing that? What barakat? Nabi Salam has left. This is shirk, bidat. That's what they said. Hazrat Ahmad bin Hanbal rahmatullah, when he was asked, he said, Abdullah bin Umar used to do this. And why can't we follow his sunnah today? Maqam of Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala and son, Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar. When they was wearing certain sandals that were tan, orange color. Why do you wear them? He said, because the Prophet ﷺ wore them, I will wear the same ones. Hazrat Umar had a daughter called Hafsa. Hazrat Umar married their daughter Hafsa to Rasulullah ﷺ. Hazrat Abu Bakr Siddiq married their daughter Aisha to Rasulullah ﷺ. These two were the father-in-laws of Rasulullah ﷺ. Let me quickly find in regards to Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu's children and what is in relation to that. It's mentioned here that when Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu passed away, the jinns began to cry. The jinns lamented, and Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, just quickly going to find here in regards to Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala. It's mentioned in here. Those who want to know, in another speech I will mention in more detail. But one important point before I finish is that Hazrat Umar Farooq was a great lover of the Ahlul Bayt. Did you know that Hazrat Umar married the daughter of Hazrat Ali? Kulthum, the daughter of Hazrat Ali. She was much younger than Hazrat Umar Farooq. You know why? Because Hazrat Umar Farooq had heard that whoever marries into the family of Rasulullah will be protected from the fire of Jahannam and will go to Jannah. They had heard this. If Hazrat Ali didn't like Umar Farooq, why did they marry their young daughter Kulthum to Umar Farooq? That's my question. Therefore we learn that Hazrat Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was a great lover of the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu was close to the family of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. On one journey they came home and they had two pair of clothes with them. Abdullah bin Umar thought it was for him, his son. So, father, did you bring this for me? He said, no. I bought this for Imam Hassan and Hussain, the grandchildren of Rasulullah. This is my love for them. Shouldn't I love the children and shouldn't I love their father? When Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar had a debate, an argument with Imam Hassan and Hussain, and Imam Hassan and Hussain said, do you know who we are? We are Shaykh Huda's sons. We are the grandsons of Rasulullah ﷺ. Abdullah bin Umar came home and said, my father, they said that we are Ali's sons, Rasulullah ﷺ's grandsons. My father said something. He said, they are right. These are the sons of Ali and the grandsons of Rasulullah ﷺ. Oh Abdullah, Ali, their father is greater than your father. Their grandfather is the greatest of the most. The love of Rasulullah ﷺ's Quran, Hazrat Umar Farooq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, the love that they had for the awlad of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Page 170 and it's narrated that why did you marry, when they were asked why did you marry the daughter of Ali radiallahu ta'ala, Hazrat Umar said, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, kullu nasabin wa sababin wa sahrin munqati'un yawm al-qiyamah illa nasabi wa sababi wa sihri wa kana li bis sababu wa nasabu fa aradtu an ajma' alayhi as-sihr. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, every nasab, every lineage, every hasab, every genealogy, everything will end on the day of Qiyamah. The only thing that will remain will be my lineage. And Hazrat Umar said, I want you to be the lineage of Rasulullah. That's why I married the daughter of Hazrat Ali Shaykh radiallahu ta'ala. This was in vast amount of detail. The life, the works, the status of the great Amir al-Mu'mineen Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala. I make dua to Allah Almighty that, O Allah, through the wasila of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, grant us the ziyarat of Umar Farooq in our dreams. And that, O Allah, grant us the ziyarat of Umar Farooq on the day of Qiyamah. Give us tawfiq to take us and Umar as our role model in this dunya and in the akhirah. And that, O Allah Almighty, we present the ajr of this in the bargah of Umar Farooq, accept this in their bargah. Allah Almighty, the sadqan to fair of Hazrat Umar Farooq, forgive our saghira and kabira gunah, and make us true lovers of this great ashik of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa aqulu qawli hadha, astaghfirullah li wa lakum, wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Jazakumullah khair to Cradley, Heath, Intizamiya, the Sultan, the brothers who have arranged this, organized this. I hope that Allah Almighty rewards them in this dunya and in the akhirah. No doubt they have done a great thing today. And alhamdulillah, Allah has given me the tawfiq that with a sore throat, I can talk for 2 hours, 10 minutes. If I had my throat properly, you would be going to school from here in the morning. Not from your house, you'll be here all night. I will go on and on. Because there's nothing better to talk about than these people. These young people need to know who these men are. So for this reason, inshallah, if we can all benefit from these things, Allah reward them. Before I hand it over to the organizers, my brothers and everyone are here. They've got a table set out. They're selling sweets for children, those who are children. They're selling itar, I think £3 a bottle for Armani, Gucci, alcohol free. So why not wear the alcohol free Gucci Armani rather than wearing the alcohol Gucci Armani? Maybe it's the not so real version, but it's better than wearing alcohol. They're also selling a CD of mine, Drugs and Alcohol. It's a very famous CD I've done on drugs and alcohol. It's £3 a CD. If you are interested, please do purchase one. I advise that if you do purchase, all these will go to charity, the proceeds will go towards making further CDs. This talk I will get on CD, 2-3 CDs. The life of Umar Farooq, the video is here, I have the audio of my phone as well. You get this on audio, and I've started this project of CDs, all my talks. There's around good 100-150 topics that need to be heard. So for that we need finances, it costs, everything costs. If you can give something for that as charity, that's fine. I'd advise that you take a CD with you. If you are not a drug dealer or alcoholic, or you know, don't worry, there's many good things in there other than that. Give this CD to friends that you know, sisters, brothers. It might benefit them, it might help them. Give it to them, then inshallah they will benefit and they will give it out to many people. And this will be sadaqah jariyah for you, sadaqah jariyah for me. Win-win situation, only £3 is nothing. £3 is a burger, man. I'm always having burgers, chips, nothing. So please do. If the sister side, sister, she wants to take responsibility in this, but if they do want to purchase, they can't wait at the end. or we'll give a few to them if they want to purchase. By all means, that can be decided by themselves and it can be arranged by you. Jazakumullah khair, Allah reward your sabr and patience. You sat here for a long time. Allah reward you abundantly for this. Allah forgive all of our sins. Next week I will Wolverhampton. The talks on drugs and alcohol, on gangster mentality to life will come around. I hear the brother is here who are organizing it. Inshallah next week they will be there. I will be back in Birmingham next week. I hope you can turn out. It will be in the Jamia Mosque. Jamia Masjid Bilal Wolverhampton at the same time. Inshallah. Jazakumullah khair.